Anxiety about anxiety. I want to talk about this as I'm about 10 days out from the Who Does She Think She Is Women's Conference 2022. The first women's conference that I've ever put on that was a change in my life that brought a lot of stress that turned to anxiety. And for the last 10 days or so, I've been trying to relax and not feel the pain from anxiety, not feel what happens in our bodies physically and emotionally from unmanaged stress. Thank God I have a partner in my life that recognizes it, because he too has a lot of stress. A matter of fact, I don't know anybody that doesn't. And over the last 10 days or so, he has been reminding me, you need to chill out, you need to relax, you need to not do any work, you need to not do this, not do that anymore. There were even moments over the last week that I argued with him about that, which seems so crazy right now when I think about it, because why would you ever argue about relaxing? You'd only do that if it's a chronic habit of yours. I have been stressed my whole life. You probably can relate with this. You can resonate. Birds of a feather flock together. My friends, my people, my family, I know that they all feel this way. So we become anxiety ridden, or maybe even just stress. Stress turns into anxiety. We become that way as children. Our heart and our body becomes hyper vigilant to seek out danger and to seek out what's wrong, how we are unsafe in the world. And we learn to operate like that. I often refer to it as survival, that we're just operating in survival mode, because that's really what it is. And then next thing you know, decades go by and you've learned this way of operating. And it feels strange not to have the stress in your life. And so subconsciously, we will literally do things to create some stress. So we feel normal. So we feel that comfortably uncomfortable feeling. I've had time to think about this week as I started to come down. Literally, it's a come down, because I suffer from adrenal fatigue. I really notice it after times like this. The stress of last weekend for the women's conference was doing the best that I can, delivering with the spirit of excellence, taking care of my sisters, all of the women that attended, doing right by them, doing right by God, that everything was just going to be perfect, because I've got that perfectionism in me. So what I wanted to say about it is that I've had time to reflect and look back a day, like 24-hour periods, and how as I start to come down and the pain in my neck and my shoulders and my back starts to alleviate, my thoughts get clearer. And that always, it sort of rattles my cage. It makes me think, how often are you de-stressing, or are you de-stressing enough to stay clear, to stay at your optimal performance, to have your heart wide open? We stress about everything, right? We stress about money, we stress about our kids, we stress about our grandkids, we stress about our health, our relationships, our work, our bills, our home, you name it, the dog, our spirituality. We stress out about God sometimes, when God is the exact opposite of that and wants the exact opposite for us. So the stress, if it's affecting like my emotions, one could go to say that it's affecting yours the same. And did you know that stress is one of the top 3 leading causes of death in the United States alone? Because it turns into a heart issue, heart disease. Stress in our body causes all sorts of things. Cancer. It's dis-ease in the body. That's the number 1 killer in our country. So I think there's no time like the present to think about Are we feeling some stress in our body? And one of the things that I do when I start to feel it in my body is now I just, without thought, I breathe. I inhale and I exhale deeply. And I feel like when I'm inhaling God. I'm inhaling peace and joy and love and comfort and what I need in that moment that I know God delivers me. And when I exhale, I'm exhaling the same thing out into the world. And it's interesting how that's a natural response for our body, because when we're in fight or flight, when we're in that stressed out mode, our breath becomes short. We're in fight or flight. Our body is pumping cortisol and adrenaline, and our extremities are kind of starting to get numb. It's strange, but our body literally is being prepared to be eaten by that saber-toothed tiger back, sort of like in our ancestor days. Our body is preparing for the worst. That's what cortisol and adrenaline does to it. And after it does this to your body for so long, it takes a toll out on you. It takes years off of your life. It takes your joy away, your quality of life. It takes all of it away from you. It starts to eat at your body from the inside out. Did you know that cortisol literally shrinks your brain? It shrinks your frontal lobe, where we make executive thoughts. We need to be making executive thoughts all day, every day. So it's an important part of our brain. Cortisol does that. It shrinks our brain. It makes us a little dumber. I'm not okay with that. When I think about that, I think, how in the world can I get rid of the stress and the anxiety that I manifest in my body from other emotions such as fear, worry, doubt, all of those things, right? That's because anxiety is always the second emotion on top of the first emotion, because it can come from sadness. You can get stress and anxiety from being happy, worrying about if it's going to end, if it's not going to be there. Sounds obsessive, doesn't it? It does to me. So, as I'm on my way up to my soul sister's house in North Carolina, this is part of me doing something to take care of myself, which ultimately relieves my stress. I'm going to go up here and spend a couple days with her, and it's always refreshing. It's one of those things that always fills up my soul. And I seek these things. Like over the last 10 days, I've taken a walk outside in Mother Nature because that fills my soul. I've spent a lot of time in prayer. I've spent a lot of time taking a hot shower and just crawling into my bed, fresh sheets, fresh blankets, laying on my back and listening to some soft music that I can meditate on. I've eaten whole foods. I've eaten really healthy. And I've drank a lot of water. I've also received thoughts and messages that I needed to take certain supplements like magnesium and vitamin D. I've gotten 2 B vitamin shots over the last week because I'm deficient in B vitamins, B12. These are just some of the things that I've done to manage my anxiety, manage my stress. Like going and spending time with my best friend. That's going to help me manage my stress and manage what's going on. When I feel the stress, when I feel my shoulders starting to creep up to my ears, or I feel that I'm clenching my teeth. I've clenched my teeth for many years now. And I feel the uncomfortableness of that. I roll my shoulders back, maybe even a couple times. I move my head back and forth like this so I can feel that tension in the side of my neck. Remind myself that I'm there again. I take a deep breath. And I remind myself that fear's not necessary. God has got me. God has got me. God has got you. we are so caught up in trying to figure things out and trying to control things and make things a certain way because we're going to survive and we know how to do it the best way, and I got to do it, I got to do it, I got to do it. When really God is doing all of it and always has been and always will. That's what I have to remember. That's what gives me the most peace. Peace is what I seek. Peace and freedom. And it's when I remember that God is in control. It's when I remember that my faith is more important than anything that I do. Anything that I do is that I practice being faithful to Him like He is to me. God has been so good to me. The conference last weekend was such a transforming time in my life. It showed me that God has shifted me into another arena, into another area that I wasn't even clear was happening. And I've got a beautiful relationship with a man that loves me. He wakes me up every morning and tells me I'm the most beautiful woman that he's ever known, that I'm the wisest woman, I'm the most beautiful missionary on the face of the earth, amongst a bunch of other things that he says to me. I have so many good things going in my life. I am blessed beyond measure. And still, we get a little bit of stress, we get a little bit of anxiety. Because that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal if you're on a mission or you have a purpose to do something good. And God, I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope you're mission-minded and you have purpose. And you want to do something for the world, for the greater. If you are doing something like that, then you know that you're on task. You know that you're doing right. Trust me when I say that. So, if you're out there and you're feeling a little bit of stress, or maybe it's turned into anxiety, roll your shoulders back, let them drop, take a deep breath, breathe in some God, breathe in some love for yourself, and breathe it back out onto the world. And know that you're being taken care of. Let your faith be strengthened in this, and know that it's going to be better than anything you could have ever imagined. That's what happened to me last weekend. I looked out amongst my sisters and these women, my sisters in Christ, and there wasn't a dry eye. There wasn't a heart that wasn't being moved. There wasn't a space in that room that God wasn't filling it. And I am so grateful for that. Just a moment in time to stand there in that with those women. It's just amazing. God is so, so good. God is great. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Armella Harmony Shivers. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I'm a missionary, and I'm also a passionate leader of a global sisterhood of sisters that have a piece of my heart. And I just like to take care of people's thoughts and their hearts because I know what it's like to suffer there. So I'm on a mission to help heal. Help the world heal their soul. I hope you'll help me. Wherever you are, wherever this finds you, I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light. And thank you for hanging out with me. And I love you. Take good care.